Welcome to Finding You Inside of You. And I'm going to get this part out of the way real quick. Please hit that subscribe button and share this with your friends, your families, your enemies, anybody. Share this broadcast, share this podcast with other people. So hit that subscribe button and also don't forget to like. And I'm telling you the reason why I really want you to subscribe and to share is because I was having a conversation with my wonderful producer, William. And William, I'm going to look to you to the right for a second. William, what's your last name? William Taylor. And this is in Greensboro, North Carolina. I want to give a shout out to him because he is my producer of my podcast. And I would encourage you to get in touch with him. And I'm sure you can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms of social media. A person who has a heart for giving people a second chance. And one of the reasons why I believe that people can give other people a second chance because other people gave you a second chance. And just think what would make the world a better place if we did actually give people a second chance, but wasn't expecting anything from a second chance that you give people. Just give people a second chance because, you know, we all are about self-discovery. We just don't know how to do it. We all are about finding you inside of you, but we just don't know that that's what you need to do is find you inside of you. It's the lost coin that is inside of you. It's the lost part inside of you that you are looking for, that you're searching for, but no one has really taught you that you need to go find you inside of you. So subscribe, share this podcast, because what I am doing here is not only continuing to find my own self inside of me, but I feel that it is imperative. I feel that it is crucial. And I feel that it is the missing piece to life's journey when you go within and find you inside of you. So without further delay, I'm going to call this podcast, It's Time to Call a Thing a Thing. And the question is, are you normalizing your own behavior without realizing it? So I'm going to repeat that again. Am I normalizing your or my own behavior and without realizing it? Now, I know that Webster and all of these dictionaries and word searches have their definitions of words. But did you know that when a word or a knowing or a thing comes to you, that you get to give it your own definition? Why is that? Because something has been revealed to you that now you can sit with yourself and ask yourself, what does this mean? And I guarantee you, as you do that, your inner self, your higher self, your spirit, your God self, your source self, your it self, God will begin to revelate to you why you are actually thinking about a particular word. So normalizing. This is the definition of normalizing. And you can add this to your own definitions of what you have been taught that normalizing means. It means unconsciously seeing, thinking, and believing something about yourself as being normal. So I'm going to go back to the question again. Are you normalizing your own behavior without realizing it? Now let's take a little deeper dive into that about normalizing your own behavior. You know, we have been taught by our parents, educators, the world, the church. Just pick one out of the sky. We have been taught to normalize things. And when we begin to normalize things, then we begin to put a label on the thing, but we need to start calling a thing what a thing really is. And normalizing things is when we begin to settle because, oh, that's just normal. Oh, it's just, okay, I'll just bring it in real time with myself having this cough. Oh, that's just normal. But somewhere in me, the reality says, I need to call a thing because this is not normal. Or you may see people behaving a certain way that's out of character. Or you may see yourself behaving or feel yourself behaving certain ways that's out of character. Or you may see society doing certain things where you're seeing people murder people, where you begin to see people stealing, or you begin to see all these atrocities. And so to us, it becomes normal. We're saying, oh, that's just normal. And the question that we must begin to ask ourselves, am I normalizing my own behavior and I don't realize it? Am I doing things unconsciously that has now become something normal that I'm not realizing that I'm doing abnormal things, but unconsciously to myself, I'm thinking that that's normal. It's not normal to live in poverty. It's not normal to live in lack. It's not normal to go around the same mountain and come back and you're at the same spot. That's not normal. But when we begin to make it normal is when we don't pay attention to that. We are normalizing our own behaviors and we're settling for that. Now I'm going to read to you an excerpt or a selection from my book that is not in publication yet, but I can guarantee you before spring of 2024, it will be in your hands, and I will begin to share with you where you can purchase it from. So I'm going to begin to give you a few little tidbits about this book, excerpts from it. So I want you to listen to this. Normalizing your own behavior is when you unconsciously see, think, and believe something about yourself as being normal. Normalizing you inside of you is achieved when a person does not question their own behaviors as being inappropriate and would accept a behavior as being normal. Do you know that, and I can attest to this, because I'm not teaching or sharing any further than I have walked my own self. Do you know that binge eating is not normal, but we have become to normalize that to say, oh, well, I'm just stressed out. Or I'm just stressed out, so I'm going to go and eat this, or I'm just stressed out, or I'm just going to go and do this. I'm just so stressed out that, I'm just going to go do this, and this, when I know within myself that it's not normal, but I have begun to normalize my behavior because it's comfortable to me. Let me read on. Normalized behaviors will overlook their behaviors because normalizing has developed into an illusionary ego and is known to us called patterns of resistance that causes us to use strategies to cope. The ego has accepted normalization rather than reality because of the inner you has no idea that it is really afraid. Let me pause right there for a second. And I'm going to go back to my question because I like to bring the mind back into consciousness. I like to bring the mind back into awareness as far as where we are going or where we are at. It's just like a remembrance, okay? The question is, are you normalizing your own behavior and don't realize it? Am I normalizing my own behavior because I haven't found that part of me inside of me that's really afraid, that's really walking in fear, that's really afraid to say, oh, I'm afraid, that's really afraid to go into the darkness of the self and ask, why am I afraid? What am I afraid of? Who am I afraid of? Am I afraid of myself? Let me read on. The ego self steps in and will pretend and will make up things to soothe itself, to make itself feel better in the face of reality it does not like and refuses to accept. This develops into an unhealthy ego. Now, let me put a comma right there. There are two types of egos, but I'm not going to get into the two types. There's a healthy ego and there is an unhealthy ego. And in this case, we're talking about the unhealthy ego that's a part of us, that is within us. But when you go and find you inside of you, you find that door. And you can't be afraid to walk through that unhealthy ego that's large on the inside. So this ego develops into an unhealthy ego, which becomes the afraid self within us. It is the part of us that does not like it, that we don't know everything. It's that part of us that wants to control everything. And it's that part of us that can't have everything we want and not admit that I can't have everything I want, because everything I want is not good for me. Even though I want that, but when I go within myself and find me inside of myself, I have to ask myself, is that for my greatest, highest good? Is that for my greatest, highest good? Normalizing causes the inner self to pretend it knows where it's going, what is going to happen, what other people are thinking and feeling, when all the time the normalized, unhealthy ego is afraid and fearful because of still living in the unconscious past. I'm going to pause this part of this, because this is going to turn into a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, until we go within a little bit deeper within ourselves and ask ourselves, am I normalizing my own behavior or behaviors? Because when you begin to normalize, you don't question yourself, because, oh, that's just normal. When you begin to normalize, you don't question certain beliefs that other people have. When you begin to normalize your behavior and have normalized it without realizing it, and I'm going to end with this one, because this is like a whammy right upside the head on both sides. You're not realizing that the self called you is being controlled. And you're being controlled by voices and forces that's outside of you. And what is happening, it is suffocating and continues to suffocate the real you that's screaming on the inside, that is wanting to be set free. You have thoughts, you have dreams, you actually have outside revelations that you're afraid of, because normalizing everything has taught you not to trust your own perception of things. It has caused you not to trust your own feelings. It has caused you not to trust things that are not written in a book. Because even the master teacher, Jesus, Yeshua, the Christ, said, if everything was written about me, and I'm going to take it a step further, about the universe that we live in, the books would not be able to contain it. And I will end it with this. Some things have to be spiritually discerned. And who is the discerner and the observer? That is you. And when you find more of you inside of you, and you remove yourself from the illusion to reality, to that which is real, and that you know that it is real, that you feel that it is real, and no one didn't have to teach you that that is real. It's an inner knowing that you have. You are finding more of you inside of you. So subscribe to this channel, Finding You Inside of You. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with the world, because the world is waiting to find who? Themselves. This is Essence Evolve, and until the next time, find you inside of you for yourself.